Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Fun with Physics in Game Maker Studio 2. Today we're going to add some more physics shapes into our game. So we're going to add a circle and a triangle because those are the two kind of shapes that we'll most likely be dealing with in games. So just to show that they can that the physics engine can handle those and make our little toy more dynamic, we're going to add those into it, as well as how to change their colors. So I'm going to create a sprite, and we're going to call this SPR Circle. And I don't have a circle sprite, so we're going to make one. We're going to go to Edit Image, and over here we have our toolbox. And there are a ton of great tools in here that are actually more powerful than I first assumed. I thought this was just going to be kind of a quick paint system or something like that, but there's a lot of cool tools here. So you might think we'd want to use this to make a circle, which we can. We can use this and increase the size. This is a 64 by 64 block, so if we change this to 64, I can do that and make a circle that way and paint it, and that is a perfect circle. If we undo that, another way to do it is to use this ellipse tool, filled, and then click on that. So we would click on the top left of our screen. Oops, sorry. And click on, hold down our mouse, click on the top left, and then drag it all the way to the bottom right. And that'll make a circle just the same. So that's all there is to it to make a circle in the editor. So we can close this. And our floor tile is 64 by 64 as well, so that's perfect. And let's go ahead and make a triangle as well. So we'll create another sprite, SPR Triangle. We will edit image, and we'll use that same technique. We'll go to Polygon tool, and we are going to choose right there, and right at 32. And if you look at the corner of your screen down here, you can see exactly where your cursor is in pixels. And since we're at 64 pixels wide, we want to get to 32 exactly. And now we have a triangle. This isn't an exact triangle. It's not the same on each side, but it'll work nonetheless. It's triangle-ish. So let's go ahead and create objects for these. So our object square is a dynamic one, which collides with the floor and other squares, which is kind of perfect. It's what we need. So let's duplicate that. Right click and go to duplicate, and also hit Control D to do that. And let's open up square one, and we're going to change this to object circle. We're going to choose a sprite of Sprite Circle, and we are going to add an event so that it can collide with itself. So add event, collision with circle, and we're going to go over here to one of these execute codes and Control C to copy that, or right click and copy, and then go to the object circle and right click and paste. And now we have that same collide event there. And we can also do that over here with our object square. We want our square to collide with the circle as well. So we'll go to object circle, and we'll paste in that collision event. So let's go into our room and add a couple circles in here. And you're going to notice that, well, you might not notice because you can't really see texture on here, so you might not notice that they're not quite circle collisions yet, but you'll see what I mean if we hit play. Because we haven't actually made the shape of the collision yet. So yeah, these don't roll, they just act like other squares. So what we want to do is go into Object Circle, click on Physics, and go to Modify Collision Shape, because it's still thinking it's a square, right? A box. And we're going to change this to a circle with a radius of 32, which is already set at. And now, when we hit play, we have rolling, and other circles are pushing each other and all that stuff. So now physics is working properly for our circles. Now let's make some triangles, which is, as you can probably expect, going to be very similar to what we're doing with our circles. We're just going to duplicate it, and we're going to duplicate our circle this time. And we're going to open that up and change this to triangle. We're going to go into our triangle right here. And then if we remember what happened with our circle, we want to fix that before even trying. Let's go to physics, modify collision shape, and yeah, we have our circle. So we're going to go to convex shape. We're going to zoom in a whole bunch here. We're going to click on the top point, the bottom left point, on the bottom right point. Get it as close as you can, and it should make, using 3 points, and you can adjust these as well if you click on the box after, just to make sure you get it just right. I'm kind of a perfectionist. Okay, it'll do. Alright, so we have our shape now, and we need to make it collide with itself. So we'll do collide with triangle, and we will paste in that code snippet again. And we can actually copy this whole event and go up to our circle, paste event under collision with triangle, and then go up to our square and paste event under collision with triangle. Now let's go into our room and drag a couple triangles in, and hopefully these will react how they're supposed to. They should hit the ground and they should land on one of its sides. Yep, and these two are actually showing that it's that they really are triangle vertices. And yeah, maybe there's a little bit too much of sliding going on, but this looks pretty good. We have triangle shapes and we have square shapes. Let's actually change our square color to white as well, and I'll tell you why we're doing that in a moment. Let's go ahead and use the paint bucket tool and paint that white. Alright, so now all of our physics objects are white and our floor is brown. Good. Oops, there we go. I don't know why I want that organized. So let's close some of this to make some room. And let's save our project. And I think this is where I'm going to stop the video. In our next video, we'll start adding some color. And the reason we made all of these white is so that the colors that we change our masks to in the game, I want to get the full effect, which the only way to get the full effect is to make it white. If you have a full sprite, like a character for example, it would apply green to it, but at different levels, so that the texture of your sprite will still come through. So by making it white, we get the full green effect if we made it green. But we want to make it a bunch of random colors, so we just want all of our physics objects to be white. So yeah, just make sure you save your project, and we will be back with another one shortly. Thanks for watching. Peace.